The Bible verse that gave me peace about the future. The future used to scare me, and if I'm honest, sometimes it still does. Not because I expect disaster, not because I think everything will go wrong, but because of one thing I can never seem to escape. Uncertainty. Not knowing where I'm going. Not knowing if I'm making the right decisions. Not knowing if the people I love today will still be there tomorrow. There were seasons I stared into the future, like someone staring into heavy fog. No clear path, just blurry outlines of what might be, and the quiet panic of wondering if I was walking in the wrong direction. Some nights, that fear didn't come loudly. It crept in slowly, through simple questions I couldn't answer. What if I lose everything I've worked for? What if the next chapter is harder than the last? What if I'm not enough to handle what's coming? I tried to plan my way into peace, to think my way out of fear. But the more I tried to control what hadn't happened yet, the more anxious I became. I wanted clarity, a sign, a step-by-step, a guaranteed outcome. But instead, God gave me something else. A verse. Simple, gentle, nothing loud or dramatic. Just a quiet reminder that I didn't have to know the whole road, to trust the one who was walking it with me. And somehow, that verse helped me breathe again. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29 verse 11. I had read this verse before. You probably have too. But the night I came across it again, I wasn't looking for a promise. I was just trying to keep from spiraling. And then those words found me. I know the plans I have for you. Not you have to know. Not figure it out first. But He knows. Even when I don't. Even when I'm lost. Even when nothing makes sense and every option feels risky. The pressure to have it all figured out lifted, because my peace wasn't supposed to come from knowing every detail, but from trusting the one who already does. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. I had always assumed God's plans were painful, hard lessons, delayed answers, doors that stayed shut. But this verse reminded me, His plans are rooted in goodness, even when they pass through valleys. Plans to give you hope and a future. Not just survival, not just enduring one more day, but a future, one worth walking toward, even if I can't see it yet. That night, I didn't suddenly know what to do, but I knew something deeper. I wasn't walking alone. And I didn't have to be afraid of tomorrow, because God was already in it. I don't remember the exact day the fear started, but I remember the feeling. Waking up and wondering, is this where I'm supposed to be? What if I'm wasting time? What if I missed the path entirely? It wasn't one big moment. It was dozens of little ones. Conversations I didn't feel confident in. Choices that didn't seem to lead anywhere. Doors that stayed closed. Plans that didn't unfold the way I imagined. And the more I looked ahead, the more anxious I became. Not because I believed something terrible would happen, but because I didn't know what would happen. And when you're someone who overthinks, the unknown becomes its own kind of torment. I tried to map out every detail. I made lists. I planned backup plans. I asked for advice, then questioned it all over again. But peace, it never came from more control. It came from surrender. And oddly enough, from one quiet night, with my Bible open on my lap, and my heart finally tired enough to stop fixing everything. I didn't even know what I was looking for. I just needed something to hold on to. And there it was. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. I didn't cry. I didn't feel a sudden spark of certainty. I just exhaled. Because in that moment, it hit me. I was trying so hard to figure out a life that wasn't mine to control. I had forgotten that it wasn't my job to know the plan. It was my job to trust the one who wrote it. And somehow, that realization brought more peace than any plan I could have come up with on my own. That verse didn't erase the unknown. It didn't give me a roadmap. I still didn't know exactly where I was going, or how long it would take to get there. But the pressure to figure it all out, that started to fade, because I realized the peace I was chasing wasn't at the end of the journey. It was available now, in the middle of the not knowing. For I know the plans I have for you. That was enough. Not, you'll understand soon. Not, here's what comes next. Just this. I know. And suddenly, I didn't need to have all the answers. I just needed to trust that the one holding the map hadn't lost sight of me, even when I felt behind, even when I felt like I had taken too many wrong turns, even when others around me seemed so much farther ahead. God wasn't rushing me. He wasn't disappointed. He was steady, patient, and still writing a future for me that included hope, not shame. And that became the lesson I keep returning to every time the fear creeps back in. I don't have to know the destination to walk with peace, because I'm not walking alone. If you're in a season where the future feels heavy, if every step forward feels uncertain, and every option feels like a question mark, I want to gently remind you, you don't have to know where you're going to keep walking. You don't have to have a 5-year plan. You don't have to feel ready. You don't even have to pretend to be brave. You just have to trust that the one who formed your soul is also forming your steps. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. That verse is not a formula. It's not a promise that everything will be easy, but it is a whisper, steady, gentle, unwavering, that you are not walking into the unknown alone. God sees where this is going, even when you don't, and He's not asking you to rush. He's not asking you to pretend. He's simply inviting you to take the next small step with Him. If this story brought you peace, even if only for a moment, I invite you to subscribe to Hush Journal. We're not here to impress. We're not here to shout. We're just here, in the quiet, sharing soft stories for uncertain hearts. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to keep showing up, and we'll be right here every time you need to be reminded. Your future is not something to fear. It's something God is already holding.